What's up, everybody? Just getting to the range. Gonna set up a backup bow. Sorry, I don't have my microphones with me. I thought I did, I don't. So hopefully you hear this well enough. I don't like watching videos that have poor sound. And here it is, I'm giving you something with poor sound. So hopefully you can hear this just fine, but it's irrelevant because really what I care about is that you see the bow setup and what I'm doing. And yeah, so what I have is my Xceed. I have my Braday Ellison Special Edition Xceed. And so I'll set that up, show you what I got, and then we're gonna, like I said, it's backup bow. So I haven't tuned it. I just whipped it together last night. Different limb combination, different tiller set. I just did everything at home, but I haven't shot it yet. So we're gonna shoot it. Don't know where the crawl is, don't know where anything is. So I'm gonna do it with you right here, live, and then we'll see how it works out, and we'll post the video for you to watch and maybe figure some things out for yourself. We'll see how that goes. All right, stay tuned. Okay, here we are. So let's get the bow out. Sorry if it looks like I'm crying. I put my eye drops in, and I need eye drops now. When you get old, you need eye drops. So I'm gonna need my bow square. Hope you can hear me, guys. What I have is 38 long Axia wood. You can always tell the wood limb from the foam because of the wood. You can see the wood layer, and in the foam you just see black. And gas bowstring, recurve plus bowstring. I don't know what the knock point is. Don't know. That's a standard string, so I believe it's 67 and change inch for my 70-inch bow. I go like that. So I keep my loops. Xceed Braday Ellison edition, the new Hoyt weight, and this is the 30 ounce. I don't usually shoot this weight. I'm just gonna give it a shot. I have the other stuff with me, and I don't have any extra. I usually have my ramrods weight with me. So I have that. We'll put it in if I need it. Jaeger grip, my bow sling, Ellison Barebow, Gabriel bite drop, and a Hoyt biter plunger. Yes, Hoyt has a biter plunger. So here's the riser, and let's set it up real quick. Here's my bottom. Now, what's different about this setup is, I'll do this, is I have these turned out 4.5 turns, 4 turns, I believe, actually. So these 38s should be right about 38 at my draw. I have a long-ish draw. And so because I have that long draw, I actually usually add 4 pounds to each bow based on my draw and like where I have that, because usually I bottom those limb bolts out, bottom them out, and then back them out just a little bit so I have room to play. And then I adjust my tiller accordingly. And then bow usually ends up being about 4 pounds heavier, sometimes more, sometimes. So that green bow I've been shooting, the green Xceed, is actually 44 at my draw with these same exact limbs, which are 38, which is 6 pounds heavier. So that tells you anything. So recurve plus bowstring, big loop, little loop. Big goes on top, load it up. Little on the bottom, hook her in, pull it snug. Loaded, flick it. Seated. I can tell just by going like this, I can tell how light it is. Even stringing it, I can tell how light that draw weight is. I'm gonna guess, we can put it on the scale right here. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be about 38 at my draw based on what I did. So before I take you over there and do that, I'm gonna just show you the brace height. So brace height at just a hair over 9. And in terms of millimeters, that's 23 millimeters. And on the top, just a hair over 7.25, and on the bottom 7.5. So I'm running a 1/4 inch difference on the bottom. So we're gonna see how that runs. I did that last night. I already set that. And then for knock point, I did not set the knock point. I don't usually until I shoot, because I wanna see, I just get it close and I wanna see where it actually, I'll end up needing to move it for, porpoising. But I have my RX7s. These are the 21, which is a 525 spine. Same one I always shoot. And I have my Easton Eclipse 1914s. These are the only two arrows I shoot indoors. I don't really shoot my skinny arrows indoors. I say skinny, I mean my Parallel Pros or my X10s. And these aren't fat, these are 21s. So they're not really that big. And these are 19. So we're not, I mean, they're very, very similar. They're probably not gonna be ideal. And they're probably gonna wanna be in the 20s somewhere. That's what I'm guessing, I don't know. But I have, right now these are 125s. I have 150s as well with me. So I have 100s, 125s, and 150s with me. These are the 125s. I'm gonna start with those. And these are 150s. We're gonna start with these. I have different point weights. These are just screw on, screw off. Nothing crazy, they're not glue in. I don't really like the glue in so much. I prefer the converter point. Same with these, they're stainless steel. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy. And then again, to show you how I have my knock point set. And again, it's not set, it's just in place. We'll knock that and you can just see how it's sitting. It's got an angle, right? Oh, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's got a downward angle. It's very slight, but it's definitely a downward angle. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's there. So it's a little off center, right? So if exact center would be actually a little, probably where the that knock point is, would be probably center. So like probably right about where that green one is. So it's a little high, but we're gonna shoot it and see how it turns out, how it's porpoising, and we'll adjust from there. And don't forget, if I put this, remember there's a 1/4 inch, backed out a 1/4 inch here on this bottom limb. So if I screw that in a bit and make it even, that knock point will come down a bit as well. Like it'll just pull it down. So that might change that too. It just depends on how it sits. Like I said, only one weight, so we'll take it from there. But here it is, here's the setup. Wait, this is how it looks. Let's go put it on the scale and see how it actually measures, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how I just find the draw here. It'll be close. All I care about is for the sake of weighing the bow, so it doesn't really have much relevance. But I film it just the way I'm doing this, just the way I'm filming with you. I'll just do it live. I turn the bow around so the camera can see where I draw to. I typically will draw right to the edge of the clicker plate, which is standard, and I'll watch it. And then I stop the camera, play it back, see where it is, and then that's where I pull the bow scale to, and that's how I know where my draw weight will be. So I'm gonna stop the camera, look at it. Okay, so you saw where I drew the bow to. I got right to the edge of the clicker plate, which is what I expect. That's kind of how I make my arrows anyway, so I know I cut them pretty much to the same spot. And then I will take this, put it in the bow scale, which is right here. See, I don't know what you won't be able to see that. I'll knock my arrow, of course. And when I do that, I drew that bow. I drew it right from a normal position of where you would right under the knock. And I will just grab that. Yep. Give it some tension. And then pull that to the edge of the clicker plate, which is there, and it's at 42 and change, so almost 43. So I didn't get that much relief as I thought I would, and I can still back it out a little more. I just don't want that heavy of a bow. Like I said, I was shooting that other one at 44. I ideally wanted to be at around 40, 39, 38 to 40 I would be okay with. Just so it's not so taxing and trying on me. It just gets tiring over time. I do shoot a lot of arrows when I'm getting ready to, like go to Lancaster. So knowing it's at roughly 43, these arrows might work out just fine. Same, those other ones might be a little too light, but we're gonna see. We'll take it from here. Now that we know where it's at, it was kind of irrelevant. We're gonna shoot it and find that knock height and see what we need to do with the points and get them to tune. I'm just gonna leave these just the way they are, but we'll start there and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm at the 20-yard line right below me, and the target, as you can see, is downrange. I don't know if I could zoom in on that. I can't, but it's a 3-spot. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna aim at the top target actually aim at the bottom left target on the 3-spot. And it's gonna shoot I have, 5 arrows or so. I'm gonna shoot all of them at that one spot, because all I'm trying to do is find my crawl. I don't have one for this bow. It's the way it's set up right now, but here's dead center of my tab, and I'm just gonna start with dead center. From one shot, I'll know if I'm close, and that's all I want is close. I just wanna find close, and then we'll make adjustments from there. It's that easy. So let's shoot some arrows and see where it goes. I won't even cut. Another thing is, so my plunger is currently, blah, 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 blah. I need my glasses, I can't see. But it's not at 5, it's actually backed out a bit. So because I know that's gonna be, I need my screwdriver. All right, I'm gonna pause you guys for 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So I had to back out that little screw. So right now it's set pretty soft. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it all the way to 5. So it's right at 5, 0. I don't know if you can see that or not. You probably can't, that's okay, but you can kind of tell from the gap, it's at 5, 0. I also center shot, or put the biter blocks on here last night, and just to make sure it was center shot, you will not be able to see this, but it's going from down the middle of the riser, middle of the limbs, down the middle of the arrow. So it's dead center shot. I will adjust that if needed, but we'll see. Usually if I can, work the tiller bolts and move it left and right, I'll do that, and or the point weight, I'll do that as well. But we're gonna shoot and take it from there and see what we get. Okay, so give me 1 second. All right, so. Found that middle spot on the tab. Just a hair low, it's like a liner 8-9. So I'm not gonna change, never change crawls until you're really certain. Never change anything until you have shot many arrows to confirm your findings. Looks like it's in the same spot, maybe a hair lower. So being that the next one was lower, we'll go up 1. So I'm gonna go to the one above dead center. And I influence that shot a little bit, but the height is right on. I will show you when we go down there the order. I'm just left, not gonna worry about left, right, but I like the height. So we're doing height first. Arrows are flying nice too, by the way. Four. Okay, so now that they're all shot, I won't cut, just so you can see for yourself. We'll go down range, and I'll show you the order of how this worked out, and then we'll make our changes. Show you what I do personally. What I do is not necessarily right, it's just what I do. Okay, so first arrow was this guy right here on the line. Second arrow was this guy. I don't know if you can even see that. Second arrow was lower. So that's why I went 1 mark up on my tab. That was this guy. Height is much better, as you can see. And then again, I influenced these shots a bit. So, but you can see I picked that exact. So look at the height. I'll lower this tripod so you can see the height. And you can see that the height of those 2 arrows is dead in line with the 10. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. So from here, now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna make a plunger adjustment because that plunger's on the stiff side. I don't usually shoot the plunger that stiff. So I'm gonna back it out, keeping the same crawl, and we'll see what happens. Okay, we're back at the line. I know my mark now is, and by the way, the bow feels really comfortable, even at, like I said, what did we say it was, 43? It's pretty comfortable, so I can deal with that. So again, I went from here on my tab to 1 mark up on my tab. So that's where I'm at. It's at a good height. We're gonna leave it there. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some turns out of the plunger. I'm actually gonna go 2 full turns. 1, 2 full turns out of the plunger. It softens the plunger up, and let's see if the arrows go a little more right. So the height's the same. That arrow is on that 9 o'clock edge again. So it really didn't move at all. Still there in that same spot. Let's do 1 more. Dead. Okay, so I'm gonna stop you. I'll just keep it live. And again, I'll show you in order. And again, this is why we keep shooting, to see what it's truly doing. This is like kind of why we do it this way. I think you can see those. Okay, first arrow was a 9 on the line. You can see that, okay? Pull that. Second arrow was this one. Could have just been a crappy shot, bad form, whatever. Third arrow was an X. So what does it tell me? Tells me nothing. It exactly tells me nothing. So it's still telling me that I'm probably trending to that left side, which is standard for me. I tend to be a left side shooter. There's things I can do to my form, and I will now. I'm gonna pay a little more attention. Now, mind you, I haven't warmed up. I've only shot the first, 7 arrows with you guys here live doing this. So as I shoot, I'll adjust, of course, me as I'm shooting and go through this, but I'll also make some changes, and when I do, I'll make sure you see that as well. Now, ideally, if I want those arrows to move to the right, what I need to do is either weaken the arrow, which I'm not really gonna do. I can't make it longer. I don't think I have heavier points with me. I might, I don't have to look. Or I can change those tiller bolts to make the bow heavier, to make the arrow weaker, which is kind of the standard way to do that, or the correct way to do that. You wanna push those things to the right, you make the bow weaker. I'm a right-handed shooter. But we're gonna leave it as is. I'm gonna shoot 3 or 4 more. What I'm gonna do now though, is I'll shoot at these spots individually. Might tell me a little more. I'll shoot at the spots individually, and then we'll take it from there, see what we get. Okay, it's still rolling. Remember, we've made no changes to the bow, none. Just made changes to my shooting. So now that we're coming down, I will show you the exact way this went down. Okay, I do them in order. So 1, 2, 3. And what you see here is, again, an 8 on the left side. Again, this is my standard. So just so you see something, guys, this is my target from last time I was shooting. Again, I recycle targets. If you look at this target, look at how much on the left side. I'm gonna pull this arrow real quick. Look at the trend. Look at the holes in this target. This is me normal. Indoor, outdoor, I'm a left side shooter. So you can see how much that's something I do in my shot that pulls the arrows to the left. I know what it is. I work on correcting it. It takes time. Okay, so now that we're here, second shot, pretty well centered. It was a very clean shot. It felt good, it looked good, and same with this guy. Felt good, looked good. So you can see I'm working in the right direction here. And again, it's just a form thing for me, not a bow thing right now. So again, information is still really not conclusive. We haven't really decided that there needs to be changes made. We're just gonna shoot a bunch of arrows. I'm not gonna make any changes. And then time and consistency tells me what's right and wrong, right? So we just don't wanna, just quickly go out and make changes when they don't necessarily need to happen. All right, so I'm gonna pull these and then we'll go back up the line and keep shooting. Okay, so we're back at the target again. I just shot a few more, you saw that. You can also see another trend. The other trend is my arrows are low. I do think I can change the crawl a little bit. What I'm gonna do is make an advanced crawl go up higher because I wanna see that I'm making the right decision. So if you saw my next to last video, which was about tabs and how millimeters matter in our crawl, if you watched that crawling video, so what I do is now, because I know I'm kind of seeming the right spot, but trending a hair low, I'm gonna actually go up a full mark and see if it does tend to go high or if they tend to drop down. Now, the other thing with that, the higher and lower up I crawl, we're not going much here. We're just talking millimeters, right? It might change how that bow feels sitting in my hand. So I might have to change the tiller ever so slightly. But we're gonna see. It also might change the arrow flight because those limbs are flexing slightly different. So we're gonna pull these arrows. I'm gonna go back to the line, shoot again, change my crawl a hair, and see what kind of difference we make. I also am still kind of happy with how these are sitting in terms of their center. Again, bad shot. I'm a left shooter, standard. We just talked about that. But they seem to be a little more left. So I'm also going to take a half a turn out of that plunger, make it a little softer, and see if that doesn't budge me just a little bit. We'll see. But let's take it back and do it again. Okay, I'm back at the line. I'm behind the camera, obviously, so I could see what's going on here. This is where we started with that was the first mark on my crawl. Now I went to this guy, which is one above. Now I'm gonna go even one higher, and we're gonna shoot this next round at this even higher mark and see if it doesn't make a difference in what the arrows are doing in terms of height and how they're hitting the target. and went really high. Probably just a bad shot. Okay, back at the target. So first, second, third. So you know when I was shooting, I said that the second one was really high. That was a shot. It was obviously probably a bad shot. I don't know, I'll have to go back and watch my form and technique. But here's where details matter in the crawl, right? We talked about this on the crawling video. You can see the height of this arrow is right at the pinnacle of the 10 ring. And the height of this arrow is right at the pinnacle of the 10 ring. I'm sure you can see that. I'll move that up anyway. This was a bad shot. We're not gonna count it. Oh, another thing, I didn't change my plunger at all. I changed nothing with that. So you can see this one's a hair left. This is a hair left. But again, it could be a bad shot. And this is, man, ever so slight left, but I forgot to turn that plunger. So somewhat telling though on the crawl, I might be a thread or two up from or down from this one would probably get me more toward the middle. Or it's like a halfway point on the tab. So this was the mark I had just chosen. I don't know what you can see. Yeah, you can see it. That was the mark I had just chosen. So what I'm gonna do now is put my thumbnail in the threads of that serving. We talked about that, and just kind of inch my way down those little marks. And I'll start with 2, right? That's just the best way to tell. There's probably 5 in between there. But that might put me from right here to into the middle. And that's what we're looking to do. I am also, again, I'm gonna take a half turn out of that plunger too and see if that doesn't bump me left just a little bit. So again, let's take it back to the line. Okay, we're back at the line. I'm gonna grab my bow. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna take that extra half a turn out of the plunger. Actually, what I'll do is I'll go a full turn out and we can see if it moves massively. I'll also be able to see when you do that, when you take too many or big movements out of the plunger, you can also see change in the arrow flight too, right? Because the bow's not really, we're not meant to tune the bow with the plunger, right? That's not what the plunger's for. But in this case, being that we're so close, I can weaken that plunger just a little bit and maybe push it into the bow just a hair. So we'll do a full turn out. I'm gonna take quality shots. And again, I'm gonna pick a new crawl, but we're gonna take quality shots and hopefully get them right in the yellow. One turn out. And I'm going 1 thread under that last mark. So I'll just let the camera run. Show you what we got. Okay, this is somewhat telling. So, again, I shoot normal order. 1, 2, 3. I put a target pin in here. That was driving me nuts. I dropped my other target pin. So first arrow was high. As we can see, that's still high. Not exactly where I want it, right? It's higher than the spot I shot the last time. Same with this one. This one is definitely in play. What I'm gonna do now, instead of going 1 thread down, I'm gonna go 2 threads down. That's how we know where these marks should be. Here's the telling part. That full turn out of the plunger, I have moved all of my arrows to the right. You can see now, obviously you can see that one is to the right. I'll just put that there because I want to pull it, okay? Oh, I just have one here. Point I'm trying to make is, where's the trend off center? So there's center on vertical. You can see now I'm to the right. Same here and same here. They're all now right of the line. Personally, for me, I'd prefer to be on the right side of the target. Again, telling everyone, you guys, that I'm a left side shooter. It's standard for me to hit the left side of this target. So I kind of like, when I set up my bow, I want those arrows to, I'd rather they be here. Because if I'm not performing where I need to be, chances are something in that form is gonna push these guys to that left. So I'm gonna leave the plunger where it's at, and then I'm gonna change my crawl ever so slight. Okay, let's take it back downrange. Okay, so just quick, I wanna show you something just for reference so you can see what I'm talking about. So here's my tab. Just like on the video, I put it at the knock, not the knock point. And I went from this mark, center, one above, and then one above that. On that last one, I went one thread down. So while you're here, I'm gonna show you how many threads are in between each one. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's roughly 4 serving thread wraps between spaces with this particular serving, which I believe is a 0.024 on this serving. So thinner servings will have more threads in between, thicker ones obviously less. So I went 1 down on the last one. I'm now gonna go 2 down to hopefully drop that arrow just a hair, and we'll take it from there. That was a rushed shot. Okay, I'm gonna keep it running. So my first one, like I said, you saw a rush shot. I took it, whatever, it worked out okay. It's an 8, I'll live with that. And the other 2 were in the yellow. And again, the reason I'm running these live, like without stopping, is so you can see I'm not just fudging crap, making crap up and saying, hey, here's how it's going. I want you to see for yourselves so you can do it the same way if you prefer, and see how it goes. So again, I didn't change the plunger, which is kind of, it matters. This is the rushed shot. It's an 8. Again, you see my trend. I'm gonna pull that arrow, that's fine. Again, center, I'm off to the right. Center, I'm off to the right. I'm happy with that. I'd rather add a little tension to that plunger and push it in just a bit, but I'm not gonna do that yet. I'm gonna shoot this bow enough to really learn the bow and see if, if I can change it just a little bit with the plunger or me shooting, okay? Hair high still, and it's coming down in. So I went 2, remember there's 4 threads on that wrap. I went 1, and then I'm now 2, and now I'm gonna go to the next line down and just go up 1. So 1 thread up from that last mark and see where it gets us, and it might put us in the middle. I don't know, we're gonna shoot and see. There's definitely something rattling on my bow that I need to address. It is driving me nuts. I think I know what it is, but one more. Okay. So you can see how quick this process is. It actually doesn't take too long once you kind of have a general idea what you like your setup to be. Okay. Here we are. So 10 liner, 9 low, and 10X. So again, all I did was come up one mark off of my second option on that tab. So there was my first, there was my first, there was my second, there was my third. We played in that range, but then I learned that right now I am one thread above that mark. One thread. It's crazy, like what this does, how that changes, how these marks and the threads on your serving make a difference in what the height is on downrange, right? This is our height play. This is how we play the height. And you can see how, I said this in the crawling video, how the traditional style tabs, like our standard stitched together tabs, don't work for target barebow because they're not detailed enough. They don't have these marks that go to the string where you can play with those threads. You're just trying to count a stitch and then move over. It's not good enough. These are better. Like these are the O's tab, the Fairweather, the Sniper tab. There's so many out there, but these marks are really helpful. And you can see how this has changed my height just by changing these marks. I remember I didn't change my plunger. I just kept it where we made that last turn out. What I'm gonna do now is go back and address that rattle. I think I know what it is, but I'm happy with this where it ended up. This is working for me. This will work for me. And I did this I don't even think we've been doing this 20 minutes. I don't even think it's been 20 minutes. Since I've been here, I filmed the whole thing with you, minus coming back to put that target pin in. I've done everything live, not stopping the camera, and that's how quick it went. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna end the video here for you guys, and I'm gonna address my rattle, which I think I know what it is, like I said, and then I'm gonna continue to shoot, and I'm going to pay attention to what the arrow's doing. I actually have a bare shaft with me with these. I'm not gonna bare shaft tune it yet. I'm gonna visually watch my arrow flight. So if you're shooting and paying attention to the target and your shot, you really can't pay attention to the arrow flight. You can see it a little bit, but you can really only pay attention to one particular thing at a time. Whether it's your shooting, your shot, your form, which you should be paying attention to, your process, not necessarily arrow flight. I'm gonna shoot and pay attention to the arrow flight and see if I like what it's doing. If I don't like what it's doing, I'll pull out that bare shaft and shoot that bare shaft. If I just shoot the bare shaft and start tuning from bare shaft alone, I'm tuning the bow to the bare shaft. It does tell you some stuff, but once you gotta understand the dynamics of the arrow are different with feathers and no feathers. Regardless of the amount of weight on the back of the arrow, you could say each one of these is, 3 grains, that's 9 grains total. I'm just guessing. And so there's a little weight added to the back, but you're tuning the bow to the bare shaft is not necessarily tuning the bow for a fletch shaft properly. What I want to see when I shoot that arrow is that it's flying straight, the arrow's spinning nice, there's not too much erratic behavior while this thing is going down range, and that's really all I care about. I want to make sure it's just flying nicely to the target. I mean, you guys have seen what I've done since we've been here. Isn't like, don't overthink this whole thing. Don't go deep dive into what tuning should be. Get it close and then fine tune it. Once we have an idea of what we like, then I'll maybe fine tune it. But right now, I'm happy with the way this bow is sitting and shooting, and it's working great for me. So this is my second attempt at this particular riser. I like right now what I'm seeing better than my last attempt at it. So remember, If you listen to me on the push, my conversation with Matt was break your bow. I even put a post up about breaking your bow. And what that means is take something you have, make it good. Once that's good and settled, if you're lucky or fortunate enough to have another setup, get another setup, make that good, if not better than the last, and then break the original bow, and which is the one I'm playing with now, and make it better than the other one. The idea is to kind of leapfrog into getting something that is working really, really good. If you're able to, if you have two setups. Most people don't, I understand. Maybe I'm a spoiled brat. Sure, I don't know. But I have two setups. I've always had more than one setup. I have so many bows, I don't even know what to do with. I love them. I love archery, as we all do. But anyway, I hope this helps. I hope I showed you something that you can take away from your own shooting or tuning or whatever the case may be. And I hope this helps you. And there's more to come, plenty more to come. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna probably make a separate video about what I'm doing here. But what I ideally want is, most people don't wanna pay for videos. They don't wanna pay a Discord or whatever it's called, or Patreon. I totally understand that. And there's so much free information on the internet, you just have to know how to find it. I'm gonna make that easy for you. It's gonna be right here. But what I want from you, the way I want you to pay me, is through subscribing. Just subscribe, like my videos, subscribe. The more subscribers I have, the more videos I'll put out. Good stuff, I promise, it'll be good. So please subscribe, please share the videos with others, and hopefully they'll subscribe as well. And the more subscribers I have, the better content I'll put out. There's plenty out there. Again, I'm not gonna make you pay for it. You can hire me to coach you online. I do that with lots of people. But if you want, you can do that as well. Just hit me up on Messenger and we'll do online video coaching. It's super easy, it works well. But for these videos, it's free. Just subscribe and we'll put stuff out there. All right, guys, remember always, make it look good, and peace. We'll see you at Lancaster.